Hello, and thank you so very much for joining me tonight. I go by Loon Innate, Loon Innate, Loon in Meat, Lemony, Loony Neat. What other ones have we seen? But essentially, I'm back from my trip, and I'm so eager, so excited to just reconnect with you, to just get back here and have a little opportunity to congregate online in the comments section or just in general to connect. Let me first address that the air conditioning's on because it's like 82 degrees outside where I am, and it's hot. It's hot for me. On top of that, I have a new neighbor, and he likes to rage. This dude parties. This dude parties, and he's blasting some music. So I don't get a copyright strike from the music coming through the walls. I'm in my bedroom because it is the most quiet place I could be. So this isn't my bed. It's a little loungy sofa thing that I have in my room. And this is going to be a fairly casual video, but we are going to be doing some energy work. This freaking virus. What in the frick, right? What the frickety frick is going on? Just to catch up, have a little casualness before we get into some energy work stuff. My trip for Costa Rica was planned, so I continued my trip and I got back 2 days ago. It took me a couple days to readjust, and today I went to the grocery store for the first time. I'm kind of borderline high risk for this, as in if I do get it, I could be one of the individuals who gets it kind of seriously. I'm only 37, but I have asthma, and that's kind of one of the things that could be a big issue for me. So I'm really trying to stay in and not engage with people at all, which isn't too hard, but I don't really like being told what to do either, So just like all of you, I'm kind of holed up right now, and I've only been on this is day 3 of being holed up. Held up? Hold it up? You get it. But I went to the grocery store this morning, first to Trader Joe's, and there was a long line outside, and I was just like, okay, no, I don't need frozen burritos that bad. I'll be okay. Let me go to Whole Foods where my main goodies are, let me stock up on my main goodies. And there was no line there, but I got to experience that hurricane-like energy, where the shelves are bare and there's no water and all of this stuff, right? And I think it started to kind of hit me, I don't want to say the severity of this because I'm quite aware, right? But it just started to hit me a little more. The frustration, the fear, the depression. I definitely had a nice big slappy freaking wave of depression hit me today. I'm okay now, although you might see in my face that I have been crying. I have been crying today for a lot of different things, kind of churning up, right? But I think we need to process and we need to validate. And I have to validate my fear. I have to validate my pain. I have to validate my worry and all the other things that are related to this situation, but also are kind of woven in not the most direct way, but they're still being affected for some reason by I'm still being kind of triggered in some way, right? Well, first let's validate, okay? And please do, if you're open to share in the comments and validate for yourself and be heard and be seen. I can't say that YouTube is the safest space, but I do try my best to not let total douchey freaking people up in here, right? I mean, what can I do? It's public. But in general, if you're feeling up to it and you want to validate your fears, please do. It feels good. You could do it in your journal, You could do it in the mirror. You could say it to the wind. It doesn't matter. But we really need to let this stuff hit us so that we can start to clear it out, right? Oh, also, happy birthday, Aries. Today's Aries season starting. So, happy birthday, y'all. So, validation. I'll just share from my experience. It's going to be raw. It's going to be a little confusing, probably. I don't know. And I did talk about this in my stories today. If you like catching up with me and some random BS throughout the day, stories is a good place for that on Instagram. You know, that's a spot, right? But anyway, so the depression that I experienced today, and like I said, I talked about this already, but if you've ever been really depressed, and if you've ever been suicidal, and if you've ever self-harmed, and if you've ever had thoughts that you're the worst person in the world, or that you don't mean anything, or whatever it is, or that nobody loves you and you never were supported, and all this crap that we know is like not necessarily logically truth, but still like haunting, like kind of ghosty thoughts, or like looming like energies and stuff or whatever. When you feel even a wave of depression hit you, like as in when I say wave, I mean you can acknowledge like this isn't forever, this is a feeling. If you've dealt with depression a lot, you start to kind of tell the difference, right? You can kind of tell when it's like, oh, like I'm going in, oh, you know, like that kind of thing, and it's going to be a period of time in some regard, right? But there are other times where you just like it hits you and you're like, ooh, but you're like, oh, I know this is going to clear. It's kind of like a stomach ache or something. I mean, it's not like a stomach ache, but it's like an upset of some kind, and you're like, oh, this makes sense. Yeah, there's a lot of depression in the air. There's a lot of fear in the air. There's a lot going on in the collective that I'm probably tuning into, and it's affecting me, and it's bringing up stuff within me and all of that. Like, you can sometimes tell the difference, you know? So I got hit with one of those, and of course it goes back to my family. It goes back to how I feel supported or not. It goes back to being alone, you know? So, and just to like keep it real, because I've gone so dark in my life, because I've gone so down, my thoughts go to like terrible shit, right? But I am able to recognize that it's a thought. Like, please know, like, you don't have to worry about me. Like, I will never like do anything risky. These are just thoughts. And like I said, it's almost like it's like if you've had an injury of some kind, if you hurt it again, like it's like the injury goes back to that place. So I hope that makes sense, you know, and nobody's like concerned about me too much. I'm just validating here. This is just the validation time, okay? So, you know, there was that period of like, oh, what's the point? Oh, I'm never gonna do anything, right? Not true. These are not truth, but this is where my brain kind of goes, right? This is what the little journey, the little slappy wave feels like. And, you know, I shared before, like, I don't self-harm anymore, and I'll never hurt myself deliberately, you know, in that kind of way. But, you know, I just wanted to acknowledge, because I know a lot of people who resonate with me also struggle or have struggled with depression or have struggled with like suicidal thoughts and stuff. So I want you to know you're not alone, and you're picking this up not just from yourself, like you're sensitive too. You're picking this up in the collective. The collective feels down. The collective feels isolated, detached, confined, you know, and it's no wonder that we're tuned into that, right? So just I hope that brings some kind of like solace to any experience, should you be having it. Obviously, it's not for all of you, but for those of you who are, you know, just know you're not alone there. I wanted to share, forgive me, my phone, let me put it on airplane mode. But essentially, I also wanted to share that from a energy work perspective, this is kind of tied to the crown chakra. Yes, we're dealing with the root, we're dealing with the solar plexus here as well. There's a lot of other stuff played in, but specifically about depression and isolation and potentially wanting to escape, like wanting to be like, dude, like time's up, like get me off of earth, like I've been here too long, this shit is getting too weird, like I quit, like get me out. There can be an imbalance in the crown chakra from this kind of situation. It's a very chicken and the egg thing, right? I'm not trying to say the crown causes it, but just so we have an area to focus in this regard. So essentially, if you're feeling like you want to escape, or if you're trying to drink all day, I'm not judging, or if you're using any substance, to detach, or if you're detaching, like you know, right? If you're detaching, or if you are having suicidal thoughts, that could potentially be connected to a hyperactive crown chakra. So I would suggest, if you're in that realm, to make sure that you're eating grounding foods, you're connecting with your body, you're connecting with your senses, you're like massaging your shoulders, or like, I don't know, connecting with your body, stretching, feeling yourself, like feeling your foods and the textures and like all this stuff, and like really indulging in your bed when you go to sleep, and all of that can be very helpful to bring us down, as in bring us down into our bodies and put a little bit of a cap on, not a hard cap, but a little bit of a cap to bring us back into this reality. And if you're on the other end of the spectrum, where you're feeling just so isolated and detached from a more feeling stuck, if I can say it that way, that would indicate more of a under-energized crown chakra. So I would ask you then, or rather guide you, if you're open to it at all, to pray or communicate to what you deem as God or the universe, or write letters to your higher self. The air's coming on and off, I'm so sorry. Connect with the God within you, meditate, do have some kind of experience that connects you to the fact that there's more than just what's in front of our face. So I hope you can start to see the difference there if you don't already know that kind of stuff. Another area that I want to make sure we're focusing on as well, I mean, we can focus on all of this, but it's specifically the solar plexus area too. So the solar plexus is a space of ego. It is a space of self, of identity, we could say. Like, I am Jillian. I was born on July 13th. I live in Florida. I like cilantro. I don't like seeds very much, for the most part, like tomato seeds, eggplant seeds, no thanks. You know what I mean? Like, I have my likes and dislikes, that kind of stuff. And the ego, essentially, though, not just that me as a human ego, but the ego in general is the force which holds our vitality. It holds and collects the ever-present energy of the universe and brings it together so that we have life force. And when there is a lack in will to live in the ego, that life force starts to dissipate. So these are all things that we can focus on, essentially focusing on our will to live, focusing on our will to thrive, and to have experiences, me as Jillian, to keep on a holistic, on an energetic level, to keep ourselves charged, vital, healthy and strong, So those are just some things that you might want to bring into your day, if you're open to it. Claim yourself, especially now in Aries season. It's a season of I am. So claim yourself, declare yourself, and work that way, and it really does help. And finally, and again, we could work with all the chakras here, but I did want to speak of these specifically because they're the ones I keep seeing come up. But the root, our connection to this realm, that now it feels like even more crazy than it did before, no? To remember that this is, potentially what we signed up for. I don't mean to project my beliefs onto you, but I believe I signed up for this, as much as I'm like, like what? Why? I did, and there's some purpose here, even if it's just casually making these silly little videos, right? Like whatever it is, or to be a mom, or to have experiences, or to collect these things that kind of fill out my soul, right? for my next life. To learn and grow and all of that. So essentially, the root can be very helpful to work with, particularly if you're feeling disconnected and in that hyper-energized crown chakra area that we talked about. Connecting with the root, connecting with the earth, connecting with the resources, with the vital force here, with our foods or vitamins or experiences. Don't hold, like, this is such a time of uncertainty. Our money is being jeopardized, our health is being jeopardized, there's so much stuff going on. But please don't forget to connect with the fact that we have access to so many resources, to healing herbs, to medicines, to information that's way above my head at this point anyway, right? So connect with that, and please also don't be afraid to continue carving your path here. Don't let this situation keep you from putting your feet on the ground and making tracks. You might be in your room, you might be stuck in your house, or you might be put on hold for certain things. But keep planning. If you're planning a trip and it's been postponed, keep planning it, keep visualizing it, keep seeing yourself there. If you're planning anything else, any kind of endeavor outside of your house, work on it still. Like, you might not put the deposit down, right? You might not do all the steps, but keep manifesting. Don't give up on your path. Don't put everything on pause, because then our ego starts to lose track, and then that will starts to become fuzzy, and it's just kind of this domino thing going on from all different directions when we feel disconnected from the earth realm in general. One last thing to share before we move on, and I know a lot of you are going to be like, why are you talking so much? But sorry, okay? I just talk a lot, and it's been a while, okay? Leave me alone. See that elbow action? Just I got this. But essentially, I've shared this on Instagram, I've shared this in Patreon today in our live stream, so forgive me, but I just want to say this again one more time and put it here, and then I'll stop talking about it. But clearly, you see, right, you know this, that a few months back, we had this huge issue of the Amazon burning. The Amazon rainforest being the lungs of the earth. And through correspondence, we could say, or we could at least think about it through correspondence. I'm not saying one thing causes another, but I am saying I'm into Hermeticism, and I study this, and I can clearly see the correspondence here. Now we are dealing with a respiratory virus, right? So there's a connection if you're open to it, right? As without, so within. So it's important to remember that through with energy work and with your empowerment and all of this, it's also as within, so without. They work both ways. Just like your thoughts affect your auric field affects your thoughts. And hence why when you're picking up stuff from the collective, or if you resonate as being an empathic person, what you're experiencing is trickling in and kind of gets in your head and makes you feel different and all this stuff and sets you off, right? It works the same way. You can cultivate within you peace or anything and send it out into your auric field, your as within, so without, to influence the environment. It's a two-way street is essentially what I'm trying to say here. It's not a one-way channel. So just as the Amazon will say, as without, so within, respiratory virus, as within, so without. And if we're able to cultivate healing, if we're able to make changes within ourselves, if we're able to empower ourselves and raise our vitality and correct perhaps some of our personal practices, and I don't mean that in a judgmental way whatsoever. I just think we could all do a little better, no? That's okay. That's okay to say. So, through correspondence, it will have an effect on the exterior, on the environment, in whatever way you want to think of that. So it's just worth cultivating. It's worth meditating on. It's worth lighting candles for. It's worth journaling about. Whatever feels good to you. I hope that this conversation, now 20 minutes in, gives you something to chew on. All right. So, because I'm sitting on this couch and normally have the ability to walk around you, I'm going to drop you down a bit, guys. Come down to my level here. I'm going to tilt you up a little too, so we're looking a little more eye to eye. There we go. We're going to light our candle and set an intention. Look what I broke out. Look what I did for you. My battery's going to die. Let me change you real quick. You might hear Bamba panting. It has been a day, guys. It has been a day. We have our little candle. We're going to light our candle, set an intention. Dress the candle a little bit as well before we get started. Sweet stash, bro. So this is some incense. This Shampsia, every time I mess this up, Pacific Mystic incense, 10 grams. Oh, excuse you. So we're going to take a little bit of this. Let me put my candle safely and deliberately beside me. It smells so good. It smells like it would make a really good, like, stuffed pillow of herbs for sleep. So let's just take a pinch. Okay, so I've got that in there. Little bonus offering, little incense. Beautiful. So on behalf of your, my, and everyone else's highest and greatest good, in perfect comfort and alignment, our intention is to support the validation of our feelings, as well as the release of stress, the release of worry, not in a way to take away the practicalities, but more so to most empower our energetic fields. We are not alone in this circumstance by any means. There's so much going on. The world is in extreme topsy-turvy situation right now. So let's trust that we'll somehow be there for each other, one way or another. Bamba. And Bamba's making the bed for you. He's making sure it's nice and soft so you can take your naps. Sorry about that, but it's adorable. I'm not going to stop. And I'm going to focus on channeling through, so through this arm into the base of this candle with all these selenite pieces pointed out and the candle going with this intention and all this yummy stuff. And we're just going to focus on channeling through an intention of support, of witnessing one another through these times, of holding space, of balance, of being grounded, of being connected to our vital life force energy. And if you're open to channeling as well, just have a look at these pieces and channel your intention, your energy. No, let me rephrase that. And channel as well your prayer, your wish, but not pouring from your own cup kind of situation. Your best intentions as well for humanity, for maybe perhaps some individuals you know personally, for yourself should you need it, for all of us, because I think we all need it in some way. All right. And remember as well, of course, to receive, to let this wash over you. All right. I love the look of these lights. Alright. And I'll just set that down. It looks so pretty. Come on, calm yourself, fool. You're okay. He's like, it's bedtime, right? Are we snuggling? Why aren't we snuggling yet? Staring at me. Now I'm going to use some oil, which I've been like addicted to lately, so I have used it in a few videos. But I'm going to take off my rings. This is the Niflheim, I'm saying that wrong, from Bala's Perfumery, which I cannot say enough good things about, or the Shamsia. These two brands are incredible. Really, really, really incredible. I highly recommend. But for a little oil, for a little oil and a little magic, just gonna put a couple drops in my fingers. Cute bubble. Alright. Excuse me, I just want to be more centered. Bring a little heat to my hands. Alright. Connect with love. Connecting with the divine. Connecting with the earth, with the cosmos, with all the web that connects us all. Setting an intention to direct energy to you, should you be open to it, for the purpose of releasing stress, releasing tension, releasing unnecessary worry, as in, is this worry serving me? That's what I mean by unnecessary. And focusing as that releases, as that stress, for example, releases, to call in the will. Alright? So So first we're going to do some combing, and I am going to change the focus for you because I like it like this better. We're going to do some combing down the etheric form to relieve stress. Just pulling it down like it's rolling off like a wet bathing suit. And your skin can breathe again. And you feel so much more comfortable as that layer peels back. And you kick it off in the shower or whatever. Combing through. Focus on the shoulders. We want to address the chakras we spoke of. So first, the crown. And we're just going to block any discord, anything keeping you from feeling connected, and anything keeping you from stabilizing the space. Please forgive the lighting tonight. I had a tough day. Just want to gently pump through the crown. Gently get this energy moving, holding intentions of balance, comfort, feeling connected to all there is, but feeling purposeful in your embodiment here. Knowing how valuable you are to all of us. Pump and call this energy through. And as we've extracted, as we've released, again we want to send in this energy of vitality, of connection, and trust to an extent, you know. Solar plexus area. Just run it up. And focus here on your will. On your will to be embodied, on your will which calls in this vitality, empowering this area, feeling confident, feeling purposeful, feeling driven and inspired. A bit of flexibility in the you you've been, the you you're creating. Gonna place my hand on the ground and focus down, calling it down, down, down into the solar plexus, really empowering this space. Declare yourself, declare your will. I am here, and this place is weird and confusing sometimes, but I'm here and I call all the vitality and strength that I might ever need into my body, into my vessel, and the surrounding areas. I am a beacon of empowerment empowerment of divinity embodied in a walking and talking form. For some of us, I don't mean to be an ableist there, but I'm here with my thoughts. I'm here with my personality. I'm meant to be here. I call this into myself. I see myself huge, powerful, strong. Whoa. The warrior me, not the fighter, but the one who holds this field and holds this body. Alright, now near the roots. Connect to your resources here, to your body, to your blood, to your strength. I am so sorry for those background noises. Dude rages. We want to focus on the release here, the release of fear, the release of disconnection to this realm. Any repulsion from this realm, we release. We understand that we might not always understand the space. We might not always make sense to us. But good follows bad and bad follows good. And this is the dynamic. This is what creates change. This is what builds beautiful worlds, to have these experiences as twisted as it is. And I'm not trying to say it's a good thing. I just mean it's healthier for us to think of the fact that all of this is creating movement, it's creating conversation, it's having us look deeply at things, and for that purpose, we can find strength. We can find what does serve, because there will always be something that serves in some way, as long as we're able to think outside of the, what is in front of our face. Clearing and moving this, and again just calling in our connection to the body, to the blood, to the strength, to the vitality. Just going to do a little core work for you. And I also want to set intentions to support your sleep, because it's so needed for us to rest and keep our energy nice and strong. Lack of sleep and stress as well does really create a hostile environment for our souls to live in, doesn't it? hope you enjoyed this little session. I hear the dude is moving the party to the outside space, so I better wrap it up before it gets impossible to say goodbye. I plan to show up much more. This was just a little humble offering to get my feet wet again. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for those of you on Patreon. If you would like to support this channel, Patreon is a great way to do it. There's a lot of ton of content over there, years worth of content over there, where there's at least 2 extra videos per month in a year, so there's at least 24, but it goes back even further than that because I've had Patreon for a couple of years now. So there's lots for you to dig into if you find these esoteric teachings or topics interesting. But in general, if you just want to support the channel, it's a wonderful way. Thank you to those of you already over there who have given me so much support. And thank you as well to everyone who I've been able to work with or collaborate with in some way. I find it so very special. I have a collaboration planned soon as well with Angela Mary Magic. It's just a really nice time to see everyone coming together to offer what they can in such a choppy waters, in such a rough time. From the very bottom of my heart, I bow to the divine within you, within me, to the magic that we share. Alright, much love and namaste.